Alright guys, in this video we are going to be multiplying polynomials. Okay, so I think this video is going to go pretty quick because again I kind of pre-wrote the problems, so we'll see how this works out. Okay, so again we have gone over adding and subtracting polynomials. Now we're doing multiplication, and remember today we're going to be going over still multiplying polynomials, but it will be special cases, and you'll see what I mean by that today. And then I'll shoot a video, but remember we have the recordings from class, but again I'll come up with some more problems. Okay, so remember when we are multiplying polynomials, I'm going to just put another color and highlight the steps. Step one, move my cursor. Okay, step one is to, of course, whatever is in front of the parentheses, right? In this case we're going to do the distributive property and we're multiplying. You're going to see a lot of different cases, so it's kind of hard to outline the steps, but I'll just tell you that again you are multiplying. Okay, we are multiplying. So that could be, we have to do the distributive property. So we may have to do the distributive property when we're multiplying. Another method I've showed you is the FOIL method, the first, then the outer two terms, inner and last, and I will definitely highlight that when we do a binomial times a binomial. And then the other method I showed you was the box method, where you draw, the big rectangle, cut it into 4 pieces, and then you begin to separate your binomial, and I'll also show that one in this video. Okay, so let's jump into it. So again, step one is you do one of these 3 types of multiplication methods, and then let me also tell you what step 2 is real quick. Step 2 is that after you multiply, you have to apply the law of exponents. Okay, so again, if you're multiplying powers, you have the same base in different powers. Let me just go over that. Base with a power times the same base with a different power, you do addition. Okay, so that's like the biggest one that we see. And then again, just to be clear, after you do the law of exponents and you get all your terms, step 3 is you begin to group, just like you do in addition, and CLT, combine like terms. All right, so step 1, multiply using one of these methods. Step 2, after you do the multiplication, apply the law of exponents. And then step 3, group the like terms together and do combine like terms. All right, so here we go. Okay, so as you can see, we have an x squared. Remember, this is dp because there's only one term in the front. We are going to begin to multiply this x squared times 6x squared. So in my mind, what I'm doing is when I think of the coefficients, 6 times 1 is 6, right? X squared, and I'll just put this on the side, x squared times x squared. I know I'm going to add that together, and that's x to the 4th. So this 6 gets the x to the 4th, because when we multiply bases with the same base with different powers, we add them together. All right. Now this one, I'm doing x squared times, we're multiplying, negative 3x. So this is negative 3x to the 3rd. All I'm doing, there's a 1 there. 2 plus 1 is 3, and that's it. X squared times negative 1 is again going to be just negative x squared. And if you ask me, well, Ms. Mosley, what happened there? I'm just going to say, anything times 1 is itself. And again, this is a positive and this is a negative, so this is negative x squared. And we're done. That's it. Okay, there's nothing to combine here. I did apply the law of exponents, and there's no CLT because, as you can see, x squared, x cubed, x to the 4th, they're all different terms. There's nothing to do there. We're done. So I'm going to box it and move to the next one. Okay, on the next one, right, we're going to do the distributive property again. Okay, so we're doing our dp. And if I have negative 5a to the 3rd times 4a to the 3rd, well, negative 5 times 4 is negative 20. A to the 3rd, I'm going to do my scratch word, times a to the 4th. They have the same base, different powers. We add them for a to the 7th. Okay, everybody? And then if I have negative 5a to the 3rd times negative 3a, that's a positive 15a to the 4th. And then when I multiply something by 1, right, it's going to just be itself, but again, there was a negative, so this is negative 5a to the 3rd. Again, all three of those terms are different, a to the 7th, a to the 4th, a to the 3rd. There's nothing to group or combine. Okay? All right, so that takes care of the distributive property. All right, now let's move into binomial. And what I'll do is on this one, I'll do the FOIL method. And let me just see. Yeah, I'll do FOIL method on these two. And then for the next two, I'll do box method. All right, here we go. So when we FOIL it out, I'm just going to write the acronym FOIL. Remember, the F stands for first. Then we have outer, the inner two terms, and our last two terms in the parentheses multiply together in that order. So if I do B times 5B, because again, these are the first two terms in the parentheses. So I'm going to go over here, I'm just going to use another color. And what did I do for first? I basically am going to do B times 5B. And again, that becomes 5B squared. So this first multiplication is 5B squared. Okay. Now I'm going to take this guy and multiply by the outermost, okay? So if you want me to circle it, I can do that. It's everyone's turn, right? So again, this arrow was the F, this one is the O. So these are the outer two most terms. -2 times B is just -2B. Okay, and then on the side for the O, I'm just going to show you where I got that from. I did B times -2 for -2B. All right, here we go. Now I'm going to just change colors. And let's do, again, keep the sign with that 8. So this is -8, and I'm multiplying the inner two most terms, the ones that are right next to each other that are neighbors. You got to include the sign, right? And so that would be, for I, -8 times 5B, which becomes -40B. And remember I told you, you always want these two terms to be the same, or like terms, or they should match, that they have that same variable with even the same power. So they should look identical even though they have different coefficients, all right? So this is -40B. And for the last part, which is the L, you take the -8, multiply by -2. So again, this is the I, and this arrow is the L for the last two terms that are in the parentheses. Oh, I'm so sorry, right here, last two, these two. That's outmost, this is last. So this is going to be +16. Okay, so +16. And then down here, I'm going to show you what I multiplied. I did -8 times -2 for, +16. Having a little bit of, Now you know that you're on the right track as long as those outer and inner terms are again like terms. So when we combine these, here's the final answer. It's 5B squared. And again, this is -42B plus 16, and we're done. Combine like terms. All right, let's move to the next one. I'll go a little quicker. So again, I'm going to write my FOIL again. Okay, and I'm going to circle, and I'm doing my first and my outer. Here's my F and my O. So I'm doing basically -P times 3P squared. For the O, I'm doing -P times 1. Okay, which that's just -P, and this up here is -3P to the 3rd. Okay, just be careful with it and just look very carefully at what you're doing. And now I'm going to come back and I'm doing my I and my L. Okay, so this becomes 2 times 3P squared, which is 6P squared. And then I'm doing 2 times 1, which is 2. So the final answer to this is -3P cubed. And again, I'm putting it in order by powers. Okay, so then I'm going to put the positive. This is the part that tricks some people. You don't see the sign there, guys, but this is a positive. You know what I'm saying? So it's a +6P squared. And then I have -P, and then a +2. Again, there's a positive on the 2 because we don't write plus signs. Everybody knows it's positive. We only write negative signs. So here's the final answer for this one. Pretty simple. Again, make sure you pause if you need to. All right, so now the next two, let's do the box method. So for this one, like I told you guys, right, is we're going to draw a box. We're going to put a cross. So we're going to put a vertical line here, a horizontal line. You should get 4 boxes. And very carefully what we're going to do is, you see how you have this 2Z? That's a Z, not a 2. 2z minus 7. So I'm going to put 2z there, negative 7 there, right? And then here on this next binomial, I'm going to put negative z and then the plus 3 there. And what I'm doing on the box method, okay, is I'm saying to myself, hey, put your finger and just say 2z being multiplied, because we are doing product, right, multiplication. So 2z times negative z is gonna make, right, again, negative 1 times 2 is negative 2. Z times z is z squared. All right, I'm gonna zoom in. And then I'm now multiplying negative z times negative 7. I know a negative times a negative is a positive 7. And then we just glue that variable on the back. That's it. Now 2z times 3, again, I'm multiplying, that's 6z positive. And again, the diagonal, these two should be like terms. They both should have that same base, okay, with the same power. And the last step is to do negative 7 times 3, multiplying those together, negative 21. That's it. So the final answer, now you tell yourself, is you're like, hey, I'm negative 2z. In the back, I'm going to get a negative 21, but then when you combine this 6z plus 7z, it's going to spit out a 13z, and then again, it's positive, so we're going to put a plus 13z. That's the final answer. Pretty easy. I like foil, I like box, doesn't matter to me, but I like foil. All right, here we go. So everybody, that's that one. Let's do it one more time. Draw a box, put a cross, all right? And again, I'm gonna write negative 3d right next to this box, and then a plus 10 here. At the top, I'm gonna put 2d and then minus 1. Okay, when I multiply these two, again, 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. D times d is d squared. Now I'm doing 2d times 10, that's 20d. And then negative 3d times negative 1, a negative times a negative is a positive 3d. And then negative 1 times 10 is negative 10. And again, we want for that diagonal, they should look the same. This is going to give me a positive 23d. And we're done. The final answer is negative 6d squared plus 23d minus 10. That's the answer for that one. So fast, right? Okay. Now let's look at a binomial with a trinomial. Okay. And again, I'm just going to use the fan method, if you want to call it that. But basically, I'm just going to take the n and multiply n by every single term, distributive property, through that trinomial, and watch very carefully and take your time. So n times n squared is n to the third. N times 4n is plus 4n squared. N times 5 is 5n. Okay, now I'm going to come with another color. Let's do this color. I'm going to put a box around this plus 1, and I'm going to multiply now here through the trinomial because it's this guy's turn. All right, and again, it's 1 times anything is just itself, right, guys? So this is just plus n squared plus 4n and plus 5. After you do the distributive property, the next thing you want to do, of course, is group and combine like terms. So the n to the third is the only one of its type, so just drop him down. And then for my like terms, I'm noticing, hey, here's a 4n squared and a n squared. That's, you add them together, that's 5n squared. And then for the n's, you have 5n and 4n. Okay, that's going to be 9n. And then there's no other coefficient to do anything with. There's just a plus 5. Okay, so there's the final answer. And notice that again, it's in descending order from those degrees. All right, now let's go to the next one. If you want me to show you the box method this way, I can. But again, I've been sticking with the fan method, but I'm just going to show you how to do box to this, all right? So the box is not going to be 4 because you have more terms. So watch this. It's going to be still a rectangle type situation. But what you got to think about is, hey, I'm going to put 2 terms by these two boxes. So that's going to be my 2s, right guys, and my plus 5 on the side. But then because this is a trinomial, you want to do like 1, 2, okay, like that, because at the top I'm going to write s squared plus 3s and minus 1. Just want to show you the box method on this. So there's actually going to end up being 6 squares or rectangles. Okay, now we're doing our multiplication. This is going to be interesting. Okay, so 2s times s squared is 2s to the third. Okay, s squared times 5, which is, again, you're just multiplying. So this is 5s squared. And then you come here. 3s times 2s is 6s squared. Notice that diagonally, see they match? You're going to combine those two. But let's keep going. Negative 1 times 2s right here, negative 2s. 3s times 5 is going to be 15s. Again, notice these are like terms diagonally. And then the last part is negative 1 times 5. Multiply, that's negative 5. So one thing you notice is that the diagonals are always the like terms. You see that? Just like that. And then what would the answer be? Well, remember, you're doing the rule of integers. So what is 6s squared? This is a positive, plus 5s squared. Well, it's going to be a positive 11s squared. If you have negative 2s plus 15s, you're subtracting. That's going to be 13s positive. And you're done. Okay, so the final answer is this guy. He has no one to combine with. So it's 2s to the third plus 11s squared plus 13s and then minus 5. That's the answer. Hope that makes sense. We only have a couple more now. This video went really fast. Pause it there. All right, so now last page. So I have showed you distributive property. I've showed you the box method, FOIL method, binomial times binomial. I've showed you binomial times trinomial. And this is another binomial with a trinomial. I'm going to do the fan method again. And then I just threw in a nice little crazy looking one that you've never seen before. So here we go. Maybe a bonus question type, look like this or similar. Okay. All right, here we go. So for this one, I'm going to circle in a color x squared. Notice that with the trinomials first, the binomials second. So we're just going to multiply each term here. So, and notice there are, again, more than one variable. So watch how I do this. So we got x squared times 5xy. So this is 5x to the third because there's a 1 there. So it's 5x cubed and then glue on the y. See that? There's no one for the y to combine with. Now we have x squared times, again, negative 3. Include the sign. That's negative 3x squared. Now it's the negative 4xy's term. So I'm going to use a box. And now he's going to multiply by each term and distribute over there. So now we get negative 4xy times 5xy. This is negative 20 when I multiply the coefficients. X times x is x squared. Y times y is y squared. See? Now I'm doing negative 4xy times negative 3. That's positive 12xy. Just glue on those variables because he doesn't have any. All right. Last part. Let me use another color. So now if I do, I'm going to use a triangle. I include that plus y squared. So now we're going to multiply here and there. So y squared times this is going to be 5xy to the third. And then y squared times negative 3 is just negative 3y squared. Whoa, lots of terms. All right, so now we start looking to see if we have any similar terms. And here's something interesting about this one. Look carefully, guys. Nobody is a like term. Crazy, but it's true. See how this is 5x to the third y? Be careful. See, this is 5x to the 1, y to the third. These are not the same. You know these two are not the same. That one, he's the only x squared, y squared, and then he's the only xy. So this is the final answer to this one. Okay, we could box that, but I'm just going to leave it there. This is the answer. Crazy, but it's true. No one, look carefully, pause the video, no one's the same. All right, let's go to this last one, and I'll be done. So the first thing you notice is these two are multiplying. So let's do the FOIL method. So I'm going to do x times x times 5. I'm going to do this one super quick. So x squared plus 5x. Then I'm going to come back and do 2 times, that's the inner and last. This is plus 2x plus 10. Notice there is a negative x here. But again, I'm going to do the distributive property, so don't forget, this one's tricky. Include that negative on the x when you multiply. So negative 1 times 4 is negative 4, and then x times x is x squared. And then negative x times negative 1 is a plus x. Watch that carefully. All right, now we look again and we say, hey, do we have any like terms? Well, if we look closely, we do. So we have this x squared and that negative 4x. And then we have 3 like terms. We have the 5x and 2x, and then this x over here. So when we combine this, negative 4 plus 1 is negative 3x squared. This is 7x, and then 7x plus 1x is 8x. And this is the only constant, plus 10. That's the answer. All right, guys, this is multiplying polynomials. Again, today you will be doing more multiplying of polynomials, but again, I can't stress to you enough that we're doing special cases, so be ready, and I will see you guys later today. Okay. Also, I wanted to add, please don't forget that in Teams, I did upload some worksheets. It's opening up, but if you go into the algebra tiles, I'm going to back out of here for a second, any of these tiles, let's go to this one. And you look in there under Files, again, General on the side, go to Files, look for Unit 6 folder, scroll down, there it is, Unit 6, which is Polynomials and Factoring. Click that, and again, here's all the worksheets. I realize in this one there's 2 I'm missing, so let me make sure I upload the right ones. 5, 6, January 7th, Special Products, I'm doing that now. Independent, what I do? Yeah, independent practice, multiplying polynomials. Oh yeah, these 2 are some extra practice. So I forgot to add those into here. So there should be in each folder, let me know in your tile if you don't see it, there should be 6 different files in the Unit 6 folder. And then again, I will present to you special products today, and then I'll upload another video there. Not video, I'm so sorry. Another PDF to put there. But again, please make sure that you know where everything is, and then don't forget, I did already upload, let's see if it's there. On YouTube, you should see under the idea help video that I have, let me go back over this stuff. I already added adding and subtracting polynomials, and now I'm uploading this one. So you still have 2 videos to help you through this, and you should know where to find them in the Mrs. Mosley's help videos. All right? Okay, guys, see you later.